What is going on, you guys? It's your here with HighLine Executives, man. We are back with another season, HighLine Executives Season 4, man. We have an amazing guest with us, man. Without further ado, let's get started, man. Hey, what's going on, brother? What's your name and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Nabeel.
Yeah.
I own TMLS Timepieces here in Houston, Texas, and I sell watches. So
Nice.
anybody is looking here in the market looking for a nice Rolex, Patek, AP, please look us up on Instagram at Time by TMLS. And later on this year, we'll be also getting into jewelry, so you'll be able to come maybe buy some cool jewelry pieces from us as well.
Hey, I love it, man. Good to hear, man. So let's get started into this journey, man. How did you get started into your entrepreneurial journey, man? Or even how did you get started in business in general? You know, did you have a job? Tell me about how you kind of got started. Yeah.
So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on your podcast. By the way, I really appreciate it. I'm so glad we connected. So
100%.
That said, my story... My entrepreneurial story started about 15 years ago when I started my tech company.
Oh, wow.
It was 3 months prior to graduating from University of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I started a little tech company. And at the time when I was graduating, I was graduating with a degree in accounting, finance, and a minor in marketing.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up getting an offer from Accenture around, I think it was around $50,000 a year at the time. Uh-huh. And I had started my tech company a few months earlier, and I'd been kind of freelancing IT work prior to that. Mm-hmm. And so I said to myself, look, I think my degree is still worth $50,000 a year coming out of college a year later, so let me give this entrepreneurial thing a try.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, 15 years, I've not had to look back, and
wow.
We've
Crazy.
Been an entrepreneur now 15 years, so thankfully it all worked out, and I did tech for a little over 10 years, and then got into watches about 5 years ago.
Wow.
My last tech project I undertook was over 2 years ago at this point. So
wow, I love it.
Watches full-fledged now. Nice,
man. Congratulations. And let me ask you this. While you were in college, you said 3 months before you graduated, what kind of had that mindset shift of like, hey, you know what? Should I just take the $50K a year job or should I get into business? There's like two options that you could kind of take there, So right. It's like, which one do I get into? Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think growing up, I saw my dad build a really great life for us, for me and my brother, for our family. And I still remember back when he lost his job. And he had been working for the company for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And he was near retirement age. He couldn't get another job. We had to pretty much upend our whole life and start all over again. And he was well into his 60s when he had to start all over. So I still remembered that in 2011 and that whole experience of going through that, of literally losing everything and starting from scratch. Like,
wow.
My dad went from being a banker to working at a gas station. It was that much of a shift.
Wow.
We moved countries and stuff like that. So I always knew that if I could ever build a business, and especially in the United States of America, we're so blessed to be here, I should at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so that was my main thing, is if I could make it work, then I should make it work. And thankfully it worked out.
Do you believe that having a college degree is necessary to have a successful business?
It's a great question. Back when I graduated college, you needed to have a college degree to have a career. Because like this, what you're doing today didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
At least not on a big level.
Agree.
And so back then you needed to have that college degree to have a career, not necessarily to have a business, but to have a career. And business was so scary. Like, you would think like, you wanted a fallback plan. So the college degree was always a fallback plan. But looking now today, 15 years later, I don't think you need to have a college degree. I think a lot of entrepreneurs today are built young. Like you're young and you're an entrepreneur, right? And it's like a lot of people that became entrepreneurs back when I was in college, they were well into their 30s before they even tried their first entrepreneurial venture. Like I was still in my 20s when I attempted it, but even then, like for a gambling person, you wouldn't want to take the risk. You would rather take the comfy job, and maybe one day if you became an entrepreneur later, then that was fine.
Wow. So
I don't think you need a college degree today to be an entrepreneur.
Now in today's day and age, right, with all the opportunities that are available on the market, right?
Right.
I agree 100%. Yeah, so like one of the biggest things as well is that, being at rock bottom, it teaches you a lot, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned when you didn't have much?
I learned the biggest lessons when I had much.
Oh.
So I'll tell you, when you don't have nothing,
Yeah.
you don't really learn nothing. In a way, like, I mean, look, this was the lessons I learned when I didn't have money, was just like how to deal with people and building relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I learned that when I was, making $10 an hour working at a jewelry store. But the biggest lessons in my life came to me after I started making a little bit of money.
Wow.
So, like, for example, like I told you, started my entrepreneurial journey in 2011. I started my tech company.
Yeah.
A year after that, I always loved cars. So I had this old early 2000s Honda Accord back in the day, and when I started my company, and the first thing I wanted to do with making money out of the company was to buy a nice car.
Wow.
And I loved BMWs.
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest lesson came when I bought a 3 Series BMW in May of 2012.
Wow.
I bought an 09 BMW, 3 years old at the time. I bought it for about $35,000. I remember I got a really great deal. The salesman was even upset about the deal. He literally said, hey, can we curse on this podcast or no?
Yeah.
Okay, he straight up said, he said, I never want to see your fucking face again. Because that was it, and it's like, so that's how I knew I scored a great deal. But it was a manual, and I remember I paid $35,000 for it. I think market was somewhere in the 40s at the time.
Nice.
And I remember that feeling I had when I bought the car.
Wow.
Still to this day, it was like as if I bought a Ferrari back then.
Man,
like
yeah.
it was nothing special. It was just a 3 Series. It was a nice spec.
Yeah.
It was a manual 3 Series coupe, black exterior, red interior.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, the one problem that car created for me was it gave me an ego.
Ooh.
That was that lesson I learned. So when you finance a car, you don't make your first car note till 45 days after.
True.
And so I signed for the car in like mid-May. My first payment was due like somewhere end of June is when it was due. And I remember that car gave me an ego because at that time amongst my closest peers, I had the nicest cars. All my friends had a Honda Accord, Toyotas. Maybe someone had an older BMW, but I had like the nicest car. And that gave me an ego. And I remember for me what happened was I was walking like as if I was like the big dog and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, I finally made it. And I hadn't made it, but I was walking like I made it. And I'll tell you, like, God taught me such a lesson with that car. Like, because I remember I had a tech project that was coming due in June. We were supposed to go ahead and complete that project, and they'd given a big deposit or a sizable deposit. And so I was going to do that project in the end of June, and we were all good to go and everything. And I remember a week before we were supposed to do that project, or about 10 days before, the client calls me and says, hey, we're no longer moving forward with the whole business operation. The franchise deal they had fell through. Damn. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I need a refund on my deposit.
Wow. And
I was like, how much of it? And at that time, I think it was an $8,000 project. There was a $4,000. It was $8,000 project. He put a $4,000 deposit on it. And so he's like, I want my money back.
Wow.
I said, bro, like, I've already kind of ordered all your stuff, and we kind of already scheduled everything. Yeah. He's like, no, if you don't give me my money back, I'm going to sue you.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, oh, crap. And,
no way.
I got a little scared. So maybe hindsight 2020 now, it's a different world we live in. But back then, I got scared. Yeah. I refunded his money right away.
Man.
But the minute I refunded his money, I was left with $900 in my bank account.
Damn.
And so it was 1 week. It was going to be the 1st of July coming up. And 1st of July, my apartment rent was due, which is about $1,200. My car payment was due. Was like the first car payment was due was like $600, and I had $900 to my name.
Wow.
So I was like, what do I do? Because either I'm gonna get my car repoed, or I'm about to get evicted out of my apartment.
Yeah.
And I had no options. I couldn't go ask a friend for money because I had this big ego, because I created with a stupid car that I bought, and then I didn't want to do that. I couldn't go ask my dad for money because he didn't have any, and so I literally just went to the mosque and I started praying.
Wow.
I would go like 2-3 times a day, and especially in the evening prayers, I'd be crying in my prayers. I'd be like, God, like Allah, like why did you do this to me? Like how could you make such, like it was such a task to get that car. I scored a great deal and everything, and then my first car payment I was going to default on that note. And I was like, God, why'd you do this to me? Like how could you put me in such a position and stuff like that? And I realized this a few years later, but God put me in that position because at that point in my life I had got so disconnected from God because I'd gotten so much into other things and stuff like that. I didn't think of God. I never prayed and stuff. I didn't go for Friday prayers or any of that stuff. And so him doing this was him bringing me back to him, because I was at the mosque and I was crying my prayers like, God, please don't do this, please don't do this, please don't do this. And I remember 3 days before my car note was due, another random client called and gave me like, I think, a $5,000 or $6,000 project.
Wow.
But she gave me a little bit of a deposit, but the deposit was enough to cover my rent, cover my first car note. And then the day before that phone call came, I remember I was sitting in the BMW with my best friend at the time, and we were going down McDonald's and ordering off the dollar menu. And I'm sitting in my car driving, and he paid for lunch that day. And he wasn't well-to-do either back then. And so, and then the next day this phone call comes in, and I get that project, and then from that day forward, I learned my lesson such a hard way. I was like, never again will I ever take anything for granted. Never again will I ever say, like, this is me. Like, since that day, I've always said all the blessings I've had in my life are from God or from Allah. And I'm just a very fortunate and lucky person that I get to live this life. But it's never mine. Like, so even when you see the 786 collection, which is my Instagram, if you're Muslim, you know 786 in Islam means Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, and all my cars have 786 on them. So it's, to me, it's a constant reminder that even if I ever for one day feel like I'm doing really good in life or something, like, no, God did this. So it's always constant reminder, because I never want to be in that position again that I was in, like, 14 years ago.
Wow, man, I love that.
So that was a big lesson.
Man, that is a great answer, man. Very right on the spot, man. And with that being said, where do you feel like you get your principles from? Where did you learn the mentality to actually go back and turn to God? Because a lot of people might take another route and turn to drugs and might turn to other avenues. So, like, what did you have in your mind beforehand, before you even got into business, that you kind of were able to, turn to God or turn to your principles, I guess, and kind of get back on track?
Well, I think my dad really did a great job in bringing us up. Like, my dad always taught us from a very young age, always be honest, don't lie, don't do drugs, don't drink and stuff like that, and don't even smoke cigarettes and stuff. So even for me, when I was much younger, when I came here into high school, because we lived in the Middle East, and there we didn't really have an issue with drugs or anything back then. And when I came here into high school, I remember the first week I was in high school, I had people like, hey man, come on, come hang out with us this weekend. We're gonna drink and party and we're gonna smoke and do do weed. I'm like, huh? Like, what is this? And they're like, it'll be fun. We'll introduce you to some people. You're new to the country and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I can't come. They're like, why? I'm like, well, because which answer do you want to hear? I'm like, well, he's like, you don't want to have a good time? I said, well, first of all, I can't do drugs. I cannot drink. So that's two things out right there. Party, right there. I don't know how my parents will feel about me partying. Again, I was new to this country, fresh off the plane. Oh, man. And so that being learned very early on, since my brother and I were kids, I think our parents did such a great job of instilling those values in us. So when I even got into much older period in life, even though my parents weren't there around me, I felt like I was cheating them if I drank or if I did drugs or anything like that. So I just always said no. So that was like a strong value. And then when it comes to business, to your question, I always have integrity and honesty. So I've always had that in all my businesses throughout my life, because I've always been fearful of not having integrity or honesty, because I feel like then that's a slippery slope. If you're not honest or something like that, because then it's just bad business.
Makes sense.
Like, I mean, look, everybody's in business to make a profit, right? So I think making profit is okay, but if you do that without integrity, that's the problem. We buy brands, right? Like, I'm wearing a pair of Louis Vuitton sneakers too. I paid, I think, close to like $2-3 grand for these sneakers. Damn, I guarantee you it cost them probably like $300 to me. Actually. So there's nothing, but even if I paid $2-3 grand, that's still integrity. I'm still paying what is fair market or whatever on the shoe. But they, because they created this, they get to make 10x on their profit.
Exactly.
So you can make a profit and still have integrity. But but if I bought these shoes if let's say you showed me these shoes and
Yeah.
you knew they were fake,
Yeah.
and you paid $200,
Yeah.
and I believe you because because I have faith in you,
Mhm.
I give you $3,000 for these sneakers. Now all of a sudden that's not integrity.
Yeah.
Even though you both made the same profit margin, technically speaking.
Yeah.
But one's an authentic product, one's a fake product.
Exactly.
And that's the line.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So integrity has always been a big thing for me. Those are some values that I learned growing up, and eventually I channeled that into my own business. Even today at TMLS, when we do deals, we sell watches. There's always integrity involved with every deal, and and that's key for me. Like, I will never sacrifice integrity for profit. Like, a lot of people in my business will sell watches with no box, no papers. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can count on one hand on how many watches I've ever sold without box and papers, and they've always been wholesale deals, never a retail deal.
Crazy,
so,
man.
Yeah.
I love it. No, and so real quick to kind of go back, if you had to go back in time and change anything, would you change anything about your mission and about your journey coming up as an entrepreneur, or would you kind of just would you just leave it how it is?
I lost my mom. She died when she was 50.
Oh wow.
At the age of 19 when I was graduating high school.
Wow.
So a lot of people have asked me, like, is that something you'd want to change in your life? And I think if you'd asked me this question like 15, 20 years ago, I would have said yes, because as a kid, as a son losing your mother. Like, I think generally, sons are closer to their moms and daughters are closer to their dads.
Yeah, true.
I would have said, I wish my mom was here. But if I was not the greatest student, and my mom knew that.
Yeah.
And she would always, she was proud of me because I did really well in extracurriculars. I did really good in speech and debate and stuff like that. But when it came to studies, I was like a B student, sometimes maybe C, rarely an A student, unless I really loved the subject matter. I was rarely an A student. And so when she died, I remember she died on a Tuesday, and I was at her funeral on a Wednesday.
Wow.
And it was my senior year of high school, and Thursday I was back at school.
Wow.
And I remember, like, in high school, like, news travels like wildfire. So even though I think I told maybe 2-3 people my mom died on Tuesday, everybody in high school by Thursday knew my mom had died.
Wow.
And so everybody's, like, coming up to me, like, hey, how are you here? Like, I'm like, because it's school, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Your mom just died. I said, yeah. She did. And I buried her yesterday. And they're like,
wow.
Well, don't you need time to grieve? Even teachers, counselors came to me and they're like, well, you should take some time to grieve. You should mourn her loss. You need to get through this. And look, you're not going to F up your grades. Your grades are going to be just fine. Like, we're just going to give you the semester off. You just come back and redo it and graduate next semester. Just take a few months to process. And I said, look, I'll tell you one thing. My mom, if anything in her life that she was so proud of and what she wanted me the most to be, what she was so excited for was me graduating this year. And so if I don't graduate, like as I was originally planned to graduate, I'd be doing her a disservice.
Yeah.
And my mom would never let me stay at home. Like, if it was school day, unless I was terribly sick, I could not take off. Like, I had to go to school. Even
you gotta go to
a cold or whatever, I would have to be in school.
Yeah.
So I just, even though she died, I did not want her death to change what she taught me and what she so strongly believed in. And so for me, honoring her memory meant going to school, meant graduating, meant excelling. Actually, after she died, it lit such a fire under me because then I said to myself, I don't have an option anymore. I have to become successful.
Wow.
No matter what, I cannot tarnish her memory because my brother's 4 years younger.
Wow.
So she had always had so much faith in me because she was like, you're my star kid.
Yeah.
You're the one who's gonna be successful. So throughout my life, even though she died now 22 years ago, I always felt that she's been very close, and I feel she's been watching me from above. And so when she did die, so I ended up graduating. So that first week she died. So Thursday I was back at school. That weekend I was at a speech and debate tournament. I got a first place trophy that weekend in speech and debate and impromptu speaking, which I was like, what? Oh, I didn't wear a trophy all year, but that weekend she died, I won first place, and that was insane. And then I graduated that semester, finished high school. And then I remember the day I graduated, my dad was like, son, I don't have enough money to send you to college, and I have enough money for you to go I have enough money to keep you in this 2-bedroom apartment here with your brother in Stafford in A-Leaf, but I can't send you to college. You need to make your own money, and you need to go work for this person that became my mom's friend 6 months before she died, and she hired me, and I worked in jewelry.
Wow.
At $6 an hour.
Wow.
And so
That's
no
crazy.
Commissions, and I would just work, and I'd try to make enough money. I didn't have a car, and I would just make enough money to pay my college tuition, and
that's it. Wow.
And back then it was HCC, and I remember going to HCC. I completely hated my life then, because not only did my mom pass away, I was in the pre-AP program in high school, and all my friends were going to UT. Some went to Harvard, some went to Yale, Stanford, and I ended up going to HCC because I had no other option, and I didn't have no college grants, nothing, and I remember the day I set foot in HCC, I said to myself, I need to get out of here as soon as I can. So I was just like, I did my semester and a half, so a year and a half later I ended up at U of H, and the rest was kind of history. But since the day my mom passed away in 2004, I never went back to visit her grave for 7 years.
Wow.
And the reason is because I did not want to go back to show face unless I felt I did something meaningful.
Wow.
Which, because my mom loved school so much and she really wanted me to focus, the day I went back, so I went after I graduated, I went that day to see my mother, the day I graduated high school. And the next time after that I went was when I graduated college.
Dang,
so 7 years I didn't go because I didn't feel I had anything to show for it. And the day I graduated college, I had my business, and I just went, and I had a car, and I just went by myself.
Wow.
And I remember standing over her grave and just like speaking in my heart or whatever, telling her like how my last 7 years have been. And if you ever been to a cemetery, you know it's, especially in the middle of the day, there's nobody there. On a weekday, it wasn't even a weekend, it was a weekday. And I remember there was nobody there. And I remember as soon as I was just kind of, at one point I was just kind of like saying stuff to myself, I guess, or to her. A guy comes up from behind me and taps me on the shoulder. And he said, you know what? She's really proud of you. I was like, where the hell did you come from?
What?
It was like literally like the sixth sense feeling. Like, and then he disappeared. So, I've had a lot of moments, with like God in my life. And I think, so that's one thing I sometimes I wish I could change, but looking back, that's like the biggest traumatic thing that happened in my life. And looking back, I wouldn't change it because it made me the person I am today. Yeah. Because honestly, if I had my mother, I don't think I would have had the little success I've had now to today. I don't think I would have been as motivated. Which
because you have that fire in you,
Yeah.
And another thing is, that led me to my next question is like, how important do you think purpose is in your career? Like, if you did not have this strong purpose, would you have made it this far? So like purpose, how does one find their true purpose in life?
I think more than anything in life, you need to have purpose. Before money, before any business, like what do you want to do? And like you need to have passions in place, right? And this like back to how we met, like I genuinely believe if you pursue a passion that you love doing, like I've loved tech when I was younger, I still love tech today, and I love watches, I love cars, and so what I've done is having passions for those things, innate passions. I've pursued a purpose into building those into businesses. So my passion created my purpose, which then made me an entrepreneur, and so that's kind of
it kind of it's the formula,
it's the formula.
It has to all work together, right?
And I'm sure there's some entrepreneurs who are going to disagree with me when I say this, but I don't believe your purpose should ever be money. I think the money, if your purpose is to make money, you will do a lot of things you're not going to be proud of in the pursuit of making money, because you have such a goal to make money. But if you have a passion which leads to a purpose to you being an entrepreneur, I genuinely believe you can make decisions with integrity and still have money follow. And I think long term you'll make more money than if you are just chasing money. Because look, you and I both have heard so many stories of people making money and losing it. And I've always been very mindful of that, even myself. Like I've always said, like, I came from absolutely nothing. I came from making $6 an hour, and so I'm not fearful. I think that's part of my little success is that I'm not fearful because I came from absolutely nothing. So I don't have. I've always said if tomorrow I lose everything, I lose my cars, I lose my businesses, I will be the first guy at Whataburger the next day lining up with my application to apply for a job.
Wow.
Because I think they make better burgers than McDonald's.
Wow. Yeah.
But I will start all over again.
Yeah.
You know, I'll start all over again because once because if you've ever heard of entrepreneurs like failing in their businesses or their ventures, a few years later you hear of them again coming back up.
Oh yeah.
Because once you know what it takes and you have that mindset, the biggest issue with becoming an entrepreneur is forming the mindset. It's not the money, it's not the business plan, it's not even the business, it's the mindset. And in that mindset can never be taught.
Yeah.
It only comes from experience. You can only learn it. And so when you ever, and you've spoken to, I'm sure, quite a few entrepreneurs, when you speak to entrepreneurs, you find that a lot of us have very similar stories, and a lot of us have a very common purpose and a passion that we follow. We may end up in different things, but the energy that we have, it's very similar.
Yeah, and 100%. You know, like that is why also we have this new season called season 4, the art of focus, right?
Yeah.
And the art of focus really it teaches because, you know, in today's day and age, everybody is kind of distracted because there's short attention spans, right? And one of the main questions, which is like the middle of the podcast here, so I want to drop it, is how do you master the art of focus when it comes to business? Because, you know, like I said, people are distracted on social media. Attention span is at an average of 3 seconds now, you know, people cannot lock in on one thing. So I guess I'll give you kind of 2 questions and you can take it from there. But how do you master the art of focus, number 1? And number 2 is how do you combat doubt? Yeah.
Doubt is big.
Doubt.
I've had doubt throughout my life. Even to this day, I have doubts. And the best way I've found to combat doubt is through intuition. A lot of times, our intuition builds because of experience. So that's why, like, a lot of times you hear people talking, and when they're hiring employees for a job or something, they're looking for. They don't look at your college degree 2 years out of college. They look at your experience 2 years out of college, and it's because experience is what forms your intuition. College degrees don't form your intuition.
Wow.
They just form a basis of a background for you to understand things. Like my college degree, so I technically used my MIS degree a little bit because I started a tech company and used some principles from that there. Accounting, I learned business, how businesses should function from my accounting degree, but I didn't become an accountant. You know, and even at MIS, that, you know, most people that have MIS degrees, they become consultants. I was kind of a consultant. I ran a company. Yeah. So, to answer your question, you know, I think the best way, I think is if you can follow your. Sorry, backtrack. Sorry, what was your question again?
Yeah,
I think I lost myself on a tangent.
No, it was so like pretty much is how do you deal with doubt? And you said it was intuition.
Doubt. Yes,
intuition is 100% a very good way to do it. But I think that intuition is good. You know, like having that gut feeling.
Yes.
You know, that gut feeling.
To that, your intuition builds over time. So my intuition is built over now 15 years to being an entrepreneur. So like the way I combat doubt is, if I'm doubtful of something, I ask my gut, what does my gut want to do? And then I'll go, and now, especially the last 6 months, I'll go with that decision. And I found that it's right more than it's wrong.
Wow.
So I'll go with my gut feeling on things. And so, and then the other thing that comes with that, another way you combat doubt is you become cognizant that knowing that not out of 10 decisions you're going to make in a day, not all 10 are going to be home runs. So you want to get a batting average. So like what I do is I make so many decisions a day, and I try to get it to a point now where the 7 out of 10 decisions I make in a day turn out to be good, even if 3 are bad.
Oh wow.
But whatever the consequences with my decisions that result from my decisions, I'm at peace.
Yeah.
You have to have peace. As an entrepreneur, the number one thing that's fleeting for us is peace. So if you don't find peace in the decisions you make, you're gonna end up in a lot of doubt. You're gonna end up in depression. You're gonna end up second guessing yourself. And the worst thing you can do as an entrepreneur is second guess yourself.
Ooh, yes.
That's the worst.
Yeah, man.
Because if you start second guessing yourself, you're no longer an entrepreneur.
Exactly. Because
you don't know what you literally should just become an employee.
Yeah.
Because an employee.
Yeah.
Because I've learned this from experience. An entrepreneur can never be an employee.
Yeah.
But an employee can never be an entrepreneur. Because
it's either or.
It's either or because an employee is used to a paycheck every 2 weeks. They toy with the idea of being an entrepreneur, but they would have to give up the safety blanket of the paycheck. And whenever I've seen employees try that entrepreneurial thing, entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable with making $0. And an employee has the most difficult time transitioning to making $0.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur can make $0 knowing that he doesn't have a boss. He or she doesn't have a boss above them. Because they have their peace. But an employee, if they try a business and in 3 weeks they haven't made $1, they're closing up shop. They're done. I lost $100,000.
I'm out.
I got my job application out.
I'm gonna go back
Let's
to
go.
work.
Hey, can you please take me back? I'm so sorry. I was an idiot. You know,
man,
not realizing that the brink of all of the greatest entrepreneurs always came at the brink of collapse.
Right when you're about to quit, right?
Right, like Elon Musk. Elon Musk today, the first trillionaire in the world. The first trillionaire. 15 years ago, Tesla was about to go bankrupt. Literally, employees were quitting left and right. They're like, this company is done. Like, Elon Musk's vision was so insane. And he literally got saved by some investors and stuff came in, saved him last minute. Like he was not gonna be able to pay his employees 2 weeks into the future.
Damn.
Like the company was that much under pressure. Like employees would have to go on without getting paid. And he found a lifeline that saved him, and look at where he is today.
Wow.
Jeff Bezos, same thing. Amazon literally was on the crux of bankruptcy, and then he got saved. So
last minute.
So that's where entrepreneurship really lives. Wow. It's in between. Entrepreneurism lives between rock and a hard place.
I love that.
And the day you become comfortable living between a rock and a hard place, you can call yourself an entrepreneur. Until you can get there, you're not gonna be an entrepreneur.
No, 100%, 120%. Man, I love that concept that, because we have on this channel a lot of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs are trying to get into the game. Just getting out of college. A lot of them are just getting out of college, and they're asking me like, hey man, I'm working fast food right now. It's my first job. I want to jump into business. like, where do I start? And a lot of the times what I see most commonly is people are like, hey, what course should I buy and what book should I read? So, here's my next thing, right? When it comes to education in school, right? You have, your degree, your 4 years curriculum, right? What is the curriculum for entrepreneurship? How do you study entrepreneurship? How do you learn? What books do you read? Do you buy courses? How do you actually learn the game?
So I'll tell you, beginning of this podcast, I tell you my dad's been trying to get me to read this book on by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People for almost 30 years. And to this day, I have not read that book.
Really?
I have not read this book. So I'll tell you, and even in college, I got a certificate in entrepreneurship back at U of H.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't teach you. The best way to learn entrepreneurship is go to the courthouse, get your business license, and start.
Wow.
That's the best way. I'll tell you one thing. Look, for all those people selling courses on Instagram and social media, if you are selling your course on how to make money, that method has stopped making money. But you have built enough clout to where you realize that you can't make any more money doing this. So now you're doing the next best thing, which is selling the program that you did use that maybe did even make you successful. But it no longer works.
It doesn't.
So now the program is, here, take my old program. It's like going to college. Today in 2026, and they're giving you textbooks from 20 years ago.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, it's relevant. Sure, history is going to be correct, but to 20 years ago. So anything that happened after 2006, it's not mentioned in the books, right? And so So look, that's why I tell you, like, the best experience for entrepreneurship is just, you know, finding something you're good at, and finding something that you're willing to do for free. Then going to the courthouse, spending a couple $100, get a business license. They wish you good luck when you leave, and you go start. And whether that's you go to your friends and family, and you know, a lot of great businesses just start from friends and family. You know, they're like, hey, I made some cookies. They taste great. Here, will you try one?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Man, that's actually really good. Can I bake a dozen? Yeah, here's $20. And then it just grows. That's how the best businesses are built. Wow. Is through just having the mindset and the motivation to just simply go. A lot of people get held up like, oh, I'm going to start a business. I'm saving up this much money. I'm like, how do you know how much money you need? Oh, because I did some research on Google. It said I need to have $100,000. I'm like, okay, so what happens till you get to $100,000? I'm going to keep working. Well, not realizing, you know, life doesn't stop. So like, so to your question, fresh out of college, right? What is the starting salary for a college grad today with a business degree?
About 50K. 60K.
It's still 50K. Wow, 20.
That's maybe pushing it, but yeah.
Okay. That's pushing it, so it's actually less.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hearing from my friends now. It's like they're getting jobs around like 45K. You know, I mean, for a business degree, yeah.
But that's crazy because that was the rate, you know, 15 years ago.
Really?
So that's just crazy. It hasn't shifted. So look, so I'll tell you this, like, if your friend who wants to become an entrepreneur gets out of college, takes a 45K a job a year, right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, life still happens because see your friends in their 20s, they're out mingling, socializing.
Exactly.
They want to meet a pretty girl, right? You meet a pretty girl, or you're like, oh my God, she's a catch of a lifetime. I want to get married. Are you still working at this 45K a year job, which now you're 1 year in, now you're making probably $55,000 because you got like say a few % raise, so maybe making 55 grand. Well, guess what? Year 2, you meet this girl. You're like, oh my God, I really want to marry her. So now you're making 60 grand, and then year 3. She's like, hey, you got to put a ring on this because, you know, all these other guys be hitting me up, right? So now you're making 70 grand, have to put a ring on the finger. Well, guess what? You put the ring on the finger, you spend, 10 grand today on an average ring. You put a ring on her finger. Now she's like, I got to have babies, baby. My biological clock is ticking. And this one idea you had 3 years ago to start a business just keeps being pushed back and back and back and back. And that's the employment trap right there. So they know if you don't start a business out of college, by the time you find a pretty girl, by the time because she's going to want you to put a ring on it, you're going to have to spend at least 50 to 100K for a wedding, right? So by the time you've done all of that the first 5 years out of college, well, guess what? You're in debt. You have credit cards. You have a mortgage. You have a house. Because guess what? She got married to you. She wants you to buy a house because she's got to make babies. You ain't gonna make no babies in no apartment. You know?
You gotta have a house.
So you got to make babies in a house. So next you got a mortgage. You got a baby car. Guess what? You got to keep the baby at home. No, the baby needs to go to daycare. Baby needs to go to school. Next thing you know, 10 years of your life just went by like this. Now you're 35 years old. Now you're making 100K a year, and that's when roughly after taxes translate to about a 7K a month paycheck. Right? Well, out of the 7K, 3 grand goes to your mortgage, right? Probably 2,000 or 1,500 at least goes to your cars. That's 4,500. Now you're left with $2,000. Hopefully your wife's working and she's making another few $1,000s. So combined, you're making 6-7 grand a month left over after the mortgage and the bills, which then is going to food and other stuff. So maybe you're saving 2-3 grand a month now at this point. At best case scenario, which you're putting into a savings account somewhere because you're like, everybody tells you, do not leave your money sitting in a checking account. It loses so much money. Now all of a sudden, that money's in a savings account. Now you have to wait another 10 years. So now guess what? By the time you have 100K finally saved up to start a business you thought of 20 years ago. You're 50.
Man.
And you're like, fuck, I gotta send my kid off to college. Shit.
Exactly.
Now entrepreneurial money now goes to sending off to college because you gotta go to good schools. You never started the business.
Boom.
So that's how your life just goes.
Boom.
Like that. So if you want to start a business and you're really serious,
do it now.
And look, it's okay because if you fuck up in your 20s, it's fine. Because guess what? You can start again. Because guess what? You don't have in your 20s. You're not married. You don't have kids. At least most of you, I hope you don't have kids, right? And you don't have a wife and stuff like that. And if you do, well, it is what it is. Then you just have to drag it out. But if you're single, just start business. Like worst thing's gonna happen. What? You're not gonna sell something. You're gonna end up, poor or something. Then just go get a job. The jobs will always be there. In worst case, just go work at Whataburger.
Or get into sales or something. Get
into sales. But look, everybody says get into sales, but sales is hard.
It is.
I mean, isn't it? I remember when I looked at sales, it's all commission based, right?
It's very competitive. That was gonna be my next thing. Is that what skill set do you think is the most important to have in business when it comes to operating any business?
Sales.
Sales?
Believe it or not, it's sales. Because, look, you can have the best idea, the best engineering, but no idea how to sell it.
Yes.
You just need to go take that idea and then you can go give it to a company and work there.
Wow.
Sales, you if you're really good at sales, you can sell air. So if you can sell air, start a business.
Start a business.
Because then because the combination of being under stress, like, hey, I started a business, I need money to buy food, will make you, and if you're halfway decent at sales, you'll sell air to make $5 to buy yourself a burger.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then everything else will fall into place as you grow. You sell more. So things will start lining up and start falling into place for you. Then you have to learn how. This is where I have the biggest difficulty is relinquishing control. Like trusting other people with your baby that you've built.
Exactly.
And in my 30s, I could never even imagine doing it.
Wow.
And now in my 40s, I am just like coming to grips with being semi-okay doing it. And so, even then, it's for me now, that next 10 years of my life is going to be me learning to relinquish control and trusting others to manage the baby I built.
Wow.
So that's
that's a good
hard.
point.
But you're always learning as an entrepreneur.
I love it. So characteristics, sales. Let me ask you this. If you can give me a masterclass on sales in 60 seconds, what would you say is the key to sales?
Integrity, believe it or not. A lot of salesmen lack integrity. And people think that salesmen, for some reason, they tend to believe that I can lack integrity, I can lie to the customer and they won't tell if I'm good at speaking. Customers know. Even if they don't know, like they may not have as much knowledge about the product you're selling as you do, but we all as humans have intuitions, and if you're lying to someone, like if you're trying to sell me something and I got the inkling you were lying,
you can smell it, huh?
I could smell it. I would to your face, I'd be like, well, let me think about it. That's why, like, the number one excuse to your salespeople here is, let me talk to my wife.
Because they notice that.
They notice it, so they're just being polite and tell you, hey, I think you're bullshitting me. I don't have to talk to my wife, but I'm going to tell you I have to talk to my wife because I don't want to embarrass you. And just tell you, like, hey, you're bullshitting me. So I think integrity is the biggest thing you need to have as a salesperson. And then, of course, know your product. You know, like, and look, and if a person doesn't want to buy, I genuinely don't believe in pressure sales. I never try to pressure sell anybody. My goal is always like, hey, are you looking for something? Can I help you find something? The art of selling is not forcing me to have you buy this iPhone if you're not in the market for an iPhone. The art of selling is, hey, Nabeel, I'm looking for an iPhone, and then I guide you to which iPhone you should buy. Now I may want to guide you to the one I make the most margin on.
Yeah, of course.
That's the selling.
That's the selling part.
I mean, you could buy the iPhone 17e. But I want you to buy the Pro Max because I make a little bit more money there. There's a higher margin.
Exactly.
So that's where the selling comes in. It's still integrity. Like, I'm still selling you something that you want to buy. But I may be overselling you a little bit. But that's the salesmanship.
That's art of sales.
That's art of sales.
That's beautiful. I love it, man.
Being honest.
Being honest and sales integrity. That's a very big point, man. And I feel like that's what's lacking in today's day and age, especially even with just content when people are trying to sell themselves, right? The authenticity is not there, and that's why we're here on Kick. We're live on Kick,
oh my goodness,
because it's authentic. It's true. There's no BS. There's no behind the scenes. It's all just real. Yeah, this is a genuine conversation.
Thankfully, my hair was done nicely.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't realize I was walking to a live stream. I was like, oh my god, my hair okay?
Is it good?
So,
no, that's all good. Okay, awesome. Now let's get into a little bit about your business, closer to the end of this podcast. So you have a watch business, right? Let me ask you this question. What sets you apart from your competition when it comes to selling watches?
I think it's so hard because when you are in a business, you're kind of stuck in a bubble.
Okay.
Right? Like, so what I can tell you is what I heard from my clients. They've told me that what they appreciate about me is how genuine I am. And how honest I am. And like how, they're comfortable with their purchases. They believe in my integrity. They believe in
transparency.
They believe in the transparency. And one of them said, like, I love how I don't pressure sell them. You know, I'm not like buy now. Like it's not like that. I'm like, if you're ready to buy, well, I'll be happy to do a transaction. But if you want to come back in 6 months, well, I'll see you in 6 months. It's totally fine. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like I think my biggest thing is when it comes to sell in my business is I want the client to be comfortable. I want them to be in a good space. I want them to do something that's good for them, because at the end of the day, what I do for a living is, the way I look at it is, I'm celebrating your success. Because I'm not in a business where I'm like, this is the biggest difference I noticed between the tech world where I came from and where I am today in the watch world. See, in the tech world, we did IT projects.
Oh, wow.
So you would be building a building.
Yeah.
And you need tech to run a building.
Of course.
But you wouldn't be excited to talk to me, because you're like, I need tech to make this work. You're going to charge me a bunch of money to make this work. Yeah. So I was always a cost center. So you would never wake up in the morning like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I got to call Nabeel today and spend a bunch, thousands of dollars on technology. You're like, crap, I have to do this because I want to build this building. Yeah. Right? But in watches, it's different. So watches is you wake up like, man, I had such a strong year. We hit our marks. We're going to celebrate. Nice. And I want to reward myself. Wow. So I get to be a part of your success. Wow. And to me, that's the way I view it, is I get to be a part of your journey. Wow. And I love that, because anyone, I always understand every client relationship as a beginning of a relationship. Like, you know, I've never viewed any client coming in as a transactional thing. Like if I'm buying a burger, it's a transactional thing. Like I can buy a Whataburger from 30 Whataburgers, and it doesn't matter to me who's selling me the 30 Whataburgers. But when you're buying a watch, to me, it's an experience. It's about celebrating an occasion, and so I want to be very mindful of that when you come to my office. Because even though for me, I may have sold 30 of the same watch, you know, in the last 6 months. But the 31st one that you're buying from me is still something special for you, because you didn't buy the last 30. Wow. It's your first one. You may have been saving up for a long time for this, and it's a sense of occasion. So I'm excited for you to be in a position to do this. I want to be part of it.
Wow, I love that.
So that's the way I look at it.
Man, and so and that, I guess that is what sets you apart, because I mean, there's all these other guys out there that are, you know, selling watches. Hey, you want this watch or not? You know what I'm saying? And there's no kind of experience there, right?
Right.
But you know, doing and selling watches, I bet you have a crazy network of people, man. Right? Is that true? People. Yeah, interesting, right? Yeah.
We recently picked. I can say this now. Because it's kind of online a little bit. We picked up Miss Texas as a client.
No way.
Yeah, she just came in. She came in over the weekend. Man. She picked up a new piece to celebrate her success, because she just became Miss Texas a little over a week ago.
Yeah.
And so now she's going to be going to Miss USA in August. Wow. And we did a special piece for her. We got her special Rolex full factory diamond bezel, you know, brand new, and we did a special engraving on the case back for her to mark the occasion.
I love that.
And so, you know, so we get to meet some interesting people along the way.
I love that. I love that. Okay, sounds good. And anything interesting coming up in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. You know, that's the one question I've never been able to answer, because this is probably the worst answer you've ever heard on this podcast. I don't like to say where I will be in 5 years. Believe it or not, because I don't know where I will be. I've had one saying since I was a high school kid. Whereas, maybe this is the answer that you're looking for. I'm aiming for the moon, and in case I miss, I hope to land amongst the stars. Ooh. And that's my thing. So I'm aiming for the moon, man. Like, so wherever that moon takes me, that's where I want to go. For it.
Man, I love that. I love that. I actually love that answer, you know, because it goes back to what we were talking about, the entrepreneurship. You know, you just don't know sometimes. You just have to have that gut feeling, that instinct, the faith, right?
Yes, you need to have the faith. And look, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, do you see yourself being a watch dealer, I would have never predicted it. Yeah. I just kind of go where the journey takes me, and you know, and I look, you know, always, like, I'll say one thing to your viewers is enjoy the journey, because, you know, like, you never know. Like, I heard a story about a month ago. So I'm 42 now. I heard a story of a young guy, or a semi-young guy. He was 44, and he was working at a gas station providing for his family as a clerk, and he died of a heart attack.
Wow.
2 years older than me. So I heard a story of an entrepreneur a year ago who died of a heart attack in his 30s.
Wow.
You know, and he also had a young family, had young kids. And so it's just, you know, for me, like, the way I view my life is I've had such a good life, like such a beautiful life so far, that I always feel like I'm on bonus time.
Yeah.
So my thing is, look, you know, wherever the next 5 years takes me, I'm always welcoming it with open arms and seeing where it goes. But I'm grateful. I'm blessed and I'm very grateful.
I love that. I love that.
I just hope I end somewhere cool.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, I love that answer. That's good. We all need to at least know what's in front of us and look at what's ahead of us instead of, you know, panicking and worrying about what's going to happen in 5 years, right? So
panicking never does anything. It just makes the problem worse.
Exactly.
Accepting the result and becoming at peace with it will help you move on.
Wow.
Panicking will never.
I want to ask you, what question do you ask yourself whenever you're facing like a difficult situation? Like,
oh
You
my goodness.
know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Yeah.
What are my options?
Okay.
I like to evaluate the whole table. And if all my options suck, I just pick the one that I think is going to suck the least.
Wow.
And I've had to make that decision a few times.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it all works out. I mean, look, I think the biggest benefit that we have on this planet is we have time. And I think they say time heals all wounds. Like, my mom died 22 years ago. Like, I made my peace with it many years back.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, we all have time. So even though, I'll tell you one thing to your viewers, is even if you're facing something today that is very, very heart-wrenching and very difficult, understand that if you can get past this, there's a whole world out there that you don't even know exists, because you understand you don't know what you don't know. And even though you may have a very difficult decision today and you're going to make a decision that you know you have no good options on, just make the one that sucks the least and just make peace with it and find peace with it. Don't dwell. So one thing I learned about in my life about 10 years ago is don't dwell. I used to dwell. I used to make a bad decision and live in regret. And be like, man, I missed this out. Man, I missed out.
Yeah.
But you understand that the culmination of where you are today in life is just a culmination of all the decisions.
Yeah.
The culmination of the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And I look at my life today, and you know, I have a beautiful life, and it came from making all the good and the bad decisions I made, and I'm at peace with all the bad ones.
Yeah, no,
and I'm very grateful for the good ones.
I love that, man. I love that. Now, if there's one last piece of advice that you would leave for the next generation of HighLine executives, the next generation of entrepreneurs that are going to come up, what is that one piece of advice that you would tell them to carry through and have?
Don't dwell. I can actually give a couple.
Yeah.
Don't dwell. We just talked about not dwelling. Always aim for the moon.
Wow.
That was a slogan back in our high school that was on the wall 20 plus years ago, and I memorized it. And it's always aim for the moon, because if in case you miss, you'll land amongst the stars.
Oh, wow.
So always aim for the moon, because no matter what, you'll land amongst the stars. And that's the way I've always viewed my life, is I've always aimed for the moon. And I'm maybe landing amongst the stars right now. And then 3, I would tell the entrepreneurs is, if you want to start a business, just go do it. Don't like try to write out a 30-page business plan. Go to the courthouse, get a business permit, open a bank account in the business name, and just start doing it.
Just do it.
And you'll know if it's a good idea or a bad idea by execution. If it's a bad idea, it's not going to work. Then go back to the drawing board and do something else.
Yeah.
But just keep doing it. There's so many entrepreneurs I meet today that have multiple businesses.
Yeah.
You know, if we have time, I have one story I could share with you.
Let's go for it. No, let's do it.
There's a guy that came in yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be... I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to reveal who he is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. He shared a story with me, and about 15 years ago, he was a nobody. He was working in the mall. Okay? And he was just working hard. He was trying to find a way to make it work. And then one of his friends was an entrepreneur, was starting a business. And he told us, they were best friends. He's like, come do this business with me. He's like, man, I don't know anything about this business. I don't know if I want to do it. He's like, just come in, just look, worst case, you have a mall job right now that pays you $10-15 an hour. It'll still be there, you know, if this doesn't work out. And so he's like, okay, fine. He took a leap of faith on his friend. And in 8 years, he said to me, Nabeel, when I used to go, He has a great business on Harwin. He's like, when I used to go down Harwin, I used to ask people for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They would like throw me to the curb, or I started my business. I started used to selling product, and people would be like, "Man, you're nobody." You know, they wouldn't treat him right, right? And he's like, now Nabeel, 8 years later, 180 degrees, the same people that would not even look at my product I had to sell, they come to my manufacturing facility and ask, please, can I have the product?
No way. That's
it's
crazy.
a 180, and his life completely transcended, because he name dropped a couple of people that we both knew.
Yeah.
And one of them I called after he left, and I said, hey, do you know this person? They're like, yeah, this person, I went, because he said they went to college with this person. So they're like, yeah, I knew this person in college. He was a total loser.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And he came by yesterday, and again, I never met him before, but he came by yesterday. He dropped almost $60,000 with me.
Damn.
On a whim.
Wow.
On a whim.
On a whim.
On a whim. He wasn't even planning to buy anything. He just dropped 60 grand, bought two watches.
Crazy, man.
So it's like, you know, so that 180.
Man, that's crazy.
Like you people think that it takes years to become successful.
Yeah.
But see, everybody's thinking they want to become Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Not realizing once you've made, once you're in the 7 figures,
yeah,
you can live a very, very comfortable life. And if you make it to 8, 9 figures, you're living a great life.
Yeah.
But at 7, at mid 7s, you're living a good life. Like, you're grateful.
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't have to really work too hard, and you can travel and do a bunch of things and stuff like
freedom.
that. You have freedom.
Yeah.
And 6s, like mid to high 6s, you have your freedom.
Wow.
And at 7, so that's why when people come to me, I remember one time I had a guy come to me, he's like, I'm making 9 figures. I'm like, if you're making 9 figures, why the hell are you sitting in front of me?
Yeah, your assistant should
there's
be
no,
here.
there's no way you should be here.
Yeah.
And it turned out he was totally bullshitting and stuff. He had like a little sales job. And
I
don't know why he felt the need to bullshit me.
Yeah.
But, whatever. He felt the need to bullshit me. For like an hour of my life, I was just bullshitted to about how much money this guy made. So,
that's funny, man.
Anyways.
But no, that's amazing. That's an amazing story, man. So, but yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So we know that, as entrepreneurs, we have to have integrity, go out there, kill it, right? So yeah, I mean, I appreciate you for coming on the podcast, man. We'd love to have you on again every year. We have like an anniversary and kind of, do a year podcast. So hopefully we, have you on.
We'll do one every year till we know where I end up in 5 years.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Yeah, and then we'll have the answer for you guys. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. Is there any pages or socials that you want to shout out where people can find you?
Yes, please. So a couple of things we started doing. So for timeless timepieces, TMLS timepieces, our Instagram is @time_by_TMLS. Now, if you guys like more like my personal journey and stuff like that, and what I go through, and especially the cars, it's at THE786COLLECTION on Instagram. And then recently, my son, he's gotten into go-karting, so he's 7, he's gonna be 8, and his social media Instagram is @FerrariBaby. So
wow! You got the actual Ferrari baby?
Yes.
No way.
And there's a story behind that too. So,
that's crazy.
But yes, we got that Instagram handle over 6 years ago. Yeah, the short version of the story is the day I ordered our Ferrari was the day I got that Instagram handle, to my shock, and I owned a McLaren back then.
No way.
And everybody was like, "Why did you name your kid Ferrari Baby on Instagram? You drive a McLaren." I'm like, I pretty much can talk about it back then that we ordered the SF90, but that was my tell to everybody, hey, we have a Ferrari on the way. Yeah, and that's how Ferrari Baby was born on Instagram.
Nice, so, man. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, you guys. You made it here with HighLine Executives, man. This is season 4, man. The game is here, man. Make sure you guys stay tapped in. We have an event coming soon. Make sure you guys stay tapped in. We have one event every single month. So, hey, if you guys are, here in Houston, you guys can maybe meet him in person, man, and ask him some questions. So, hopefully we'll see you guys there. This is your baby with HighLine Executives. Attack and conquer, baby. We out.
Thank you.